Welcome to part 3 and the final part of this 3-part tutorial series where we're creating these terrazzo tile materials. If you haven't seen the previous parts, then definitely check them out. The links will be in the description. So in the first part we created these 2 materials, and then the second part we created these 2, and then in this part we'll be creating 2 more materials. And if you'd like to purchase these materials to use in your projects, then you can purchase them with the links in the description on my Gumroad store and Patreon page and the Blender Market. You can also check out my Ultimate Blender Procedural Material Pack, which comes with all of my materials, pre-set up for Blender's asset browser with custom thumbnails, sorted catalogs, and customizable node groups. And every time I create 10 more procedural materials, I update the Ultimate Material Pack with all of the new materials. And you can also check out my Blender Procedural Material Tutorial playlist to learn how to create many more materials. Now just one more thing before we start, another common thing you might want to do with procedural materials is texture bake them so that you have a color map and a roughness map and normal map, and that way you can use the materials in a game engine or another 3D software and actually have image texture maps. So if you ever want to do texture baking in Blender, then I highly recommend checking out this amazing Blender add-on for easy, fast texture baking. Oven is an amazing Blender add-on for speeding up the baking process. Start by UV unwrapping your objects. You can then select the objects that you want to bake. You can then choose what maps to bake, like the color, roughness, normal, metallic, and more maps. Then choose your preferred settings, like where to export the textures, the file name, file type, and texture size. Then hit bake, and the add-on will automatically bake all the textures and export them to your computer. Then click the Recreate Materials button, and the add-on will automatically replace the material with a new material using the bake textures. You can find my full add-on review video with the link in the description, and by purchasing through my link, you'll be helping to support this channel. Alright, so this next material that we're going to be creating is very similar to this one, but the node setup is just a little bit different, but it is quite similar. So what I'm going to do is select this object and I'll duplicate it and move it over on the x-axis, and then I'll move it over on the y-axis. So you can just stick it right here, and then what I want to do is duplicate this material so it's a separate material so that if we change some of the settings it won't affect the other material. So to do that, we're going to click on this button right here. It looks like 2 little pieces of paper that'll duplicate it. So now you can see it has a .001, but we're just going to call it Terrazzo Tile 5. Then I want to get rid of the node group so we can change the settings. So if I click on the node group, I'm going to press Ctrl-Alt-G. Ctrl-Alt-G will pull the nodes out of the node group, and we'll just drag all the nodes right over here before the material output. So now right down here, the small chunks, we want to select the small chunks group, and we can delete it because we don't need it. And then also this light in here, we don't need that. So I'm going to select it and press Ctrl-X. Ctrl-X will get rid of it, but keep the nodes plugged up. And then here on the large chunks and small chunks, I'm going to rename these. So I'll select the node group and press F2 to give it a label. And I'll just call this texture 1. And then this one here, I'll call texture 2. Now let's go over here to this distortion group, and we want to change this noise texture scale, and I'm going to change it to an 18. And that way this texture is a little bit bigger. So now I want to go over here to texture 1 and texture 2, and I want to change these settings. So let's Control Shift and select texture 1 to preview it, and I can change some of the settings here. So I'm going to turn this scale to a 40. And then here on the color ramp, I actually want to flip the values. So I'll drag this white tab kind of to about here, and then the black tab I'll drag kind of to about here. Let's Control Shift and select texture 2, and I can change the settings. So on the Voronoi scale here, I'm going to turn this to a 25. And then I also want to change the color ramp. So I'm going to drag the white tab over to about here, and also the black tab kind of over to about there. So now you can see we have texture 1 and texture 2, and then they're being mixed together with this lighten because we already set this up in the previous part. So now you can see that this here is going into this mix, and this is creating the colors, but I want to change the color settings. So we're going to select this top color ramp here, and I'll hit X to delete it. And then we can drag this color ramp up here, and we'll plug this into the factor. So now both of these mixes are going into this color ramp. And then we can change some of the noise settings. So for this scale, I'm going to turn the scale to 30, and I'll turn the detail down to 8 because we don't need that much detail. And the roughness will also turn to just like a 0.8. Now we can change where the color ramp is, so let's Control Shift and select it to preview it. And I want to drag the black tab over here, and then the white tab kind of over here a bit, so it's a bit less contrasty. So now I want to change the two colors here for both of these mix nodes. So for the top one here, we're going to have like a orangey, peachy color and then kind of a brownish color. And the hex value that I'm going to be using is a hex value of D5, 8B, 5B. And then here on color B, this is a brown color, and the hex value will be 7C, 4331. Then here on the bottom mix, we're going to make some gray colors and a black color. So this gray color, if you want to use the same value I'm using, it's going to be a hex value of 3D, 403F, or just make it a nice gray color. And then for color B, this is just going to be fully black. So just turn the black all the way down to 0. So now we have this color here, and this is going to be the chunks color. And then we have this color here, which is the background. So because the mixes are going here into A and B, if I control shift and select this, you can see the orange part is going to be where the chunks are, but then the rest of it is going to be that black color. So I'll control shift and select the principled shader. And that is it for the procedural material. So it was actually pretty easy to create and pretty quick because we just copied most of the settings from this other material. So let's join it together into a node group. First though, I want to box select these reroutes and maybe bring them up just to make it look a bit nicer. So I'll box select all the nodes except the material output. And I'm going to press Ctrl G to join it together into a node group. Let's hit the tab key to go out of the node group, and I'll drag the node group over here. And then I can drag it out to make it bigger, and we can copy the material name and we can paste it here into the node group. Let's hit the tab key to go into the node group, and I'll hit the N key to open the side panel. And here on the group sockets, I'll rename that to shader because I like that better. So now right over here, we can take the group input and we can plug values up to it to control those values outside the node group. So I'll put the scale into the extra socket here, and then let's click on the scale, and I want to change the vector to float so it is one value, and then we'll turn the default value to 1. We'll go outside the node group and we'll turn this scale back to 1. So that's controlling the size of the entire material. So let's hit tab to go back into the node group. Then I want to control the tiles scale, so we have the brick scale right here. We can plug that into the extra socket, and let's rename this to tiles scale. Then I want to control the chunk colors, so if I drag the group input right up here, we have these two orangey brownish colors, so I'll put A into the extra socket and B into the extra socket, and I'll rename this to chunks color 1 and then chunks color 2. Then I want to control the color scale, which is going to be this noise scale right here. You can see that's kind of changing the scale of that texture, so I'll put the scale into the extra socket, and I'll rename this to color scale. Then I want to control the background colors, so we'll drag this back up here, and we can take the gray color, put that in the extra socket, and the black one in the extra socket. And I'll rename this to background color 1, copy that name, and this one is going to be background color 2. Then I want to control the scale of those chunks. So let's drag this right down here, and we'll drag it behind the Voronoi. So we have both of these scale values to change the size of the chunks. So I'll put both of these scale values into the extra sockets, and also this one here into the extra socket. And this one I'll rename to chunk scale 1, and then the second one I'll rename to chunk scale 2. Then I want to control the individual size of the chunks. So that's going to be controlled by this value here, because the value is making it lighter and darker. So that is controlling the size of it. So I'm going to put the value here from the hue saturation value into the extra socket, and then we can take this hue saturation value and we can put the value into the same exact socket. And this way, this one value will control both of them at the same time. And then this one, I'm going to rename to chunks individual size. So outside the node group, you can see the chunks individual size is going to make them all bigger or smaller. So let's go back into the node group. So I now want to control the roughness, so I'll drag this way over here towards the shader. Let's put the roughness value into the extra socket. Then we can drag this down here to control the bumps. So the first one that we have is the chunks. So we'll put the strength into the extra socket, and we'll rename this one to chunks bump strength. Then this one here, that's going to be the noise. So we'll put this into the extra socket, and we'll rename this to noise bump strength. And then the last one here, this is controlling the tiles. So we'll put the strength value into the extra socket, and we'll rename this to tiles bump strength. All right, let's select the group input and drag it way back here. I'll hit tab to go out of the node group, and I'll hit N to close the side panel, and we can review this material. So we have the overall scale of the material, then we just have the tile scale, and then we also have the different chunks color. So you could make it like a gray color, you could make it more like a blue color, but I kind of like the reddish orange. Then we have the color scale, and then we also have the background color 1, and then we also have the second background color. Then we have the chunk scale 1 and the chunk scale 2, or you can drag them both to make them all really small. You can also control the chunks individual size to make them really big or small. Then you can control the roughness value, and then also the bump strength, the noise bump strength, and the tiles bump strength. So that is it for that material. So let's now create the final material. Alright, so let's now create the final material, and for the final material, again, it's going to be pretty similar to this one, but we're just going to change some of the settings. So we're going to duplicate this object, let's move it over on the y-axis, and then we'll select this object here, and we are going to click on this button here to duplicate the material, and we'll rename it to Terrazzo Tile 6, and then select the node group, and you can press Ctrl-Alt-G to bring it out of the node group, and I can drag this over here. So now right up here on the color, we want to select the color ramp, we'll press Ctrl-X to get rid of it, and also this mix here, let's press X to get rid of it, and we can just drag this mix down here because we don't need that. Now you can see for this color right here, it's now just become kind of a white color, so I'm going to make this a very dark color, and this is going to be the color of the cracks. And the hex value for this dark gray is going to be a hex value of 191919. And then let's go right back up here to this color mix here, and this one I want to change these two colors as well, and these are both going to be kind of gray. So color A here, the hex value is going to be 656565, and then color B, this is just going to be fully black. Now I want to make this look like little cracks instead of these large chunks. So if I go down here to texture 1 and texture 2, we have these values, and if we turn these up, it's going to make them look really thin. So here on both of these values, I'm going to turn both of these values up to a 13. So they are very thin, and now we kind of have that crack texture. We can also change some of the Voronoi settings. So on the top Voronoi, I'm going to turn the scale to 31. And then here on the bottom Voronoi, I'm going to turn the scale to 17. And then we can also change the color ramp just to change the contrast a little bit. So I'll just drag the white tab over here and drag the black tab out a little bit so they're less contrasty. And on this one here, I'm also going to drag the white tab over and drag the black tab over here so they're a bit less contrasty, and that'll just kind of change the look of that. And that is it for the finished procedural material. So let's now join it together into a custom node group. So I'm going to box select all these nodes, press Ctrl-G to join it together into a node group. And if we hit the tab key to go out of the node group, let's drag the node group over here, and I'll make it a bit bigger, and I can copy the material name and paste it here into the node group. So let's go into the node group, and I'll hit the N key for the side panel, and I'll rename this BSDF to shader because I like that better. Let's also make this smaller so we have a bit more space. So now we can plug up all the custom values to the group input. So we can first put the scale into the extra socket. We'll click on the scale and we'll change the type to float so it is one value, and then the default value needs to be 1. And if we go out of the node group, we need to turn the scale back to 1. So that's controlling the entire scale. So we'll go back into the node group. Then we also want to take the brick texture scale, put that into the extra socket. And this one I'll rename to tile scale. And then I want to control the color scale. So I'll drag the group input up here, and this noise texture scale can go into the scale there or into the extra socket. And this one I'll rename to color scale. Then I want to be able to control the cracks color. So if I drag this over here, we have this dark color here, and you can see if I turn this up, that's controlling the color cracks. So let's put B into the extra socket here, and then I can rename this to cracks color. Then I want to control the size of the cracks, so I'll drag the group input down here, and we can put the scale from this Voronoi into the extra socket, and then this Voronoi scale, put that into the extra socket. And I'll rename this one to cracks scale 1, and then copy this, and the other one is going to be cracks scale 2. Then I want to control the thickness of the cracks, and both of these hue saturation values, we can drag these values to make it lighter and darker, and that's going to change the thickness. So I'll put the value into the extra socket, and this value is going to go into the same exact socket, so we can control both of them at the same time. And then this one I'll rename to cracks thickness. And then I want to control the roughness, so I'll drag this up here, and I can put the roughness value into the extra socket, and then we can have all the bumps. So the first one is the cracks, so I'll put the strength into the extra socket, and let's rename this to cracks bump strength. Then the second one here, plug that into the extra socket. This one is going to be the noise bump strength, and then the last one here, put the strength into the extra socket, and this is going to be tiles bump strength. So hit the N key to close the side panel, we'll drag the group input over here and hit the tab key to go outside the node group. We can now just review the final material. So we have the scale value, then we just have the tile scale and also the color scale. And then we have the cracks color, so you can make this brighter if you want to. We also have the crack scale 1 and crack scale 2. Then we have the cracks thickness. So if you want to make it look more like a terrazzo tile, you could turn this way up, maybe turn the cracks thickness to a 1.1 or something. That kind of looks cool. Then we also have the roughness, the cracks bump strength, the noise bump strength, and the tiles bump strength. So with that finished, this will wrap up this tutorial on how to create all 6 of these customizable procedural terrazzo tile materials. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And if you'd like to purchase the project files, you can get that on my Gumroad store and my Patreon page. You can also purchase my Ultimate Blender Procedural Material Pack to purchase all of my materials. And to learn how to create more materials, you can check out my Blender Procedural Material Tutorial playlist here on YouTube. All the links are in the description. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.